Yo, what's up everyone? Today we're diving into a song that feels like a reunion with an old friend who just dropped a fresh, louder-than-life vocal take on what it means to be yourself in a world that loves to question you. We're talking about Broken Social Scene's new track, Hey Amanda, the latest slice from Remember the Humans, their first album in 9 years. And yes, I'm approaching this as a fan, a critic, and someone who loves watching bands grow up in public while still sounding unmistakably themselves. First, the hook that sticks. Hey Amanda isn't trying to sneak past you with a quiet mood, it lands with a deliberate stance. The chorus feels like a manifesto. Yeah, you're going to doubt me, but I'm still here, still pushing forward, still vibing with the chaos of who I am. What makes this really interesting is how the band leverages their signature sprawling arrangement to cradle a simple, stubborn message. It's as if the music is saying, you can question me, but I'm not shrinking to fit your version of me. Personally, I think that juxtaposition, the big, communal sound paired with a defiantly personal statement, is what BSS does best when they're firing on all cylinders. Context is helpful here. Remember the Humans is their first full length in almost a decade, bookended by EPs, B-sides, and relics that fans have been combing through like a treasure map. The 9-year gap isn't just a hiatus. It's a space where the band could reassemble itself, pull apart what fans expect, and reassemble something that feels both familiar and newly restless. In my opinion, that tension, between nostalgia and reinvention, is precisely what keeps this project compelling. It isn't about recreating Hug of Thunder, it's about carrying that collaborative energy into a new era, and Hey Amanda test pilots that energy in a single, confident package. Let's break down the main ideas you might latch onto when you press play. Idea 1. The message of authenticity in a skeptical environment. The track positions being yourself as a continual act, not a one-off declaration. Commentary. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just a lyric, it's a meta-commentary on the music industry's constant second-guessing. The band has thrived on collective dynamics, multiple vocalists, interwoven guitars, shifting tempos, and that openness to question identity mirrors the listener's own experience of growing into who you are. What many people don't realize is that this stance also invites listeners to audit their own biases about authenticity in art. It's easy to celebrate a real moment and miss how much of the appeal is the imperfect, collaborative process that creates it. From my perspective, the song's insistence on staying true to oneself, while still letting the music evolve, is a blueprint for sustained artistic life. Idea 2. The arrangement as a living organism. The track sounds like a city awake at dawn, layered, busy, and incredibly communal. Commentary. The way BSS uses a patchwork of voices and instruments isn't just a production choice, it's a philosophy. It tells you that identity isn't a single instrument but a choir of expressions. This matters because it reframes what being yourself could mean in a group project. You can be authentic while still absorbing others' textures. It also implies a bigger trend in modern indie music, collective democracy in the studio, where no single ego dominates, but the result feels cohesive and urgent. A detail I find fascinating is how the production preserves separate lines so you can hear individual voices while the mix pushes toward a single, forward momentum. Idea 3. The strategic context of Remember the Humans and the Metric Tour. Commentary. Releasing a new album after nearly a decade isn't just a marketing move, it's a recalibration of audience expectations. This collaboration with Metrics and Stars on Tour signals a consciously expansive approach, tapping into cross-fanbase energy while curating the experience around a central, shared ethos. What this really suggests is that in today's music landscape, longevity depends on adaptability, linking up with peers to broaden your reach, while maintaining the core sound that loyal fans crave. One thing that immediately stands out is how this simultaneous release strategy cultivates a sense of event around the music rather than a single-seller single. Idea 4. The interview of identity through live performance. Commentary. BSS's live dynamic has always been a weather system, moments of intimate whisper and eruptive chorus coexisting. In this track, that balance translates into a live-ready energy that invites fans to join the conversation in real time. From my point of view, This makes Remember the Humans more than an album. It's a blueprint for a live experience that can evolve with the audience's reaction. It also feeds into a broader trend, bands leaning into social and cultural conversations within their art, rather than stepping away from controversy or self-doubt. Deeper insight arrives when you connect these threads. The core idea, staying authentic while embracing collective power, feels like a reflection of how art communities function now. It's not just about one musician's voice, it's about a constellation of voices aligning toward a shared aim, making something that feels genuine in a moment that's anything but. The song becomes a microcosm of a larger movement in indie and alternative scenes toward collaborative resilience, where the output is richer because the network is richer. A detail I find fascinating is how the track negotiates space. It gives room to each voice, then folds them into a chorus that feels both intimate and broadcast ready. If you take a step back and think about it, that's precisely how culture tends to move when communities stay curious and generous. Closing thought, Remember the Humans isn't just a new album, it's a declaration. It says that even after a long pause, the core energy remains: curiosity, collaboration, and the stubborn bravery to be yourself in the loudest possible way. As a viewer, I'd watch for how the rest of the record tests these ideas across different textures and tempos, and I'd listen for moments where the group's harmony feels almost loose enough to surprise us with a different arrangement live. What do you think this album implies about the future of collaborative bands in the streaming era? Are we heading toward more multi-voice projects that prize collective identity over singular stardom? Let me know in the comments what you hear when you listen to Hey Amanda, and how you're feeling about BSS after this long wait. If you enjoyed this take, consider subscribing for more creator-style breakdowns where I pull apart an artist's moves, not just their melodies. I'll be exploring more tracks from Remember the Humans and other long-in-the-tooth comebacks that still sound hungry. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.